Okay, so you may recall how I have discussed before about how most of the people, well, most of the people within these fake targeted individual communities are either actors or people who they have recruited, some of whom have addiction and mental health issues, to pose as people who they're not, for the purpose of discrediting the real people who these things are happening to. So I've showed before a very obvious example here is this individual here, targeted individual SRQ is his username. And this is very, very clearly, there's no doubt about it, this is supposedly deceased comedian Norm Macdonald. There's no question that that's who this is. If you look at him, very, very obvious. Not only is it him, you can see his face, 100% that's him. How you can tell also is with these situations, a lot of these people who are within occult circles and within Masonry, they love to mock the people who they're, attempting to deceive, and put this right out there to mock them and laugh in their face. The occult mockery of the victim is something that's very big within these circles. And they like to do this, they get a kick out of it. So as you can see here, just if there was any real doubt that this is actually Norm Macdonald, and you can't clearly see that that's him there.
Greetings, friends and foes. This is Chris. I'm a targeted individual.
And he calls himself Chris, and he's posing as a TI.
Tonight I'm going to be discussing Martin Scorsese and the role he played in getting me put on this list to be targeted and harassed to death.
So he's saying Martin Scorsese, the director, got him put on the watch list. So again, it has to do with acting. Again, it's tying in with acting. And he poses on this channel, he poses as a kind of like a Christian truther, I guess. But he doesn't play it like a comedic role. He's not playing like a goofy role. He's playing a serious role here. So he's not doing what he would typically do with his stand-up routines and things like that. So anyway, I mean, I've shown this before. Now look at how obvious this is. And yeah, so you can see how obvious it is here. Now, as if there was any doubt that this is actually Norm Macdonald posing as an actor and pretending to be a quote-unquote TI. Again, they use people, obviously, the program is known as the Masonic Silent Dagger. So obviously Masonry plays a big role in it. People within the police, the fire department, admittedly, many of them are Freemasons. And you can see people who are really targeted know that the police, the fire department, first responders take part in these activities. And that is because they have taken that vow of silence through Masonry, and they use those people. And so that's why they call it Masonic Silent Dagger. And again, obviously people know the connections that Masonry has to Hollywood. Very few of these actors aren't involved in some way in Masonry or in these occult organizations, right? So obviously Norm Macdonald, he was an A-lister, so there's no doubt. And then after they faked his death, actually, now if you look back here, they put him into this role. So the first video of this Chris character, Norm Macdonald posing as this guy Chris, posted was 6 years ago. So they started him in this acting role before they faked Norm Macdonald's death. So he was still doing his stand-up comedy when he uploaded his first video as Chris. And you can see he's wearing shades there. 6 years ago and 4 years ago. I guess that would have been around the time they faked Norm Macdonald's death, 4 years ago maybe, something like that. So just getting back to this, I've already shown this, but for those who haven't seen it, this character, Norm Macdonald, performing his role as the character Chris the TI, uploaded this video about.
Well, you know what the good book says. Let your light so shine before men that they would see your good works and glorify your God.
Now, who this is here is Robin Williams, the comedian Robin Williams, who also supposedly died a few years back. And Norm Macdonald is implying here, obviously, you can see all these different characters who Robin Williams is playing. Norm Macdonald is implying that the Chris Norm Macdonald character is implying that Robin Williams' death was faked and that he's still alive. You can see here Robin Williams really alive, and he's performing this acting role here, and that the whole thing was just fake, right? So how ironic is it that you have a guy who you can clearly see is Norm Macdonald posing as in an acting role, puts up a video about another comedian whose death was faked. It's just mockery. It's done to mock and ridicule people, right? Just to put this right out there in your face, to laugh at you and to thumb their noses at you. So that's what they do here. This is one example of actors being used within these fake targeted individual and quote-unquote gang-stalking communities. And it's all done to create this illusory world of to discredit people who real crimes are being committed against. So you can see here, he puts up the video of Robin
for all this
Williams.
stuff. If I ever won an award, I'd be like, this is all because of Jesus. I'd be dead in the gutter somewhere if it weren't for him.
Yeah, so you can see what they're doing there. And you can see why Norm posted this. Very, very obvious, right? And take a look at his other videos. You can tell 100% that's who this is. And he's not playing a comedic role here. He's actually playing, well, he's supposed to be like a quote-unquote Christian truther. And now I want to take a look at another example of someone else who they've done something similar with. Although they didn't fake a death with this person, they have this actor playing multiple roles. So keep in mind what I said about how almost all of the people within these online, well, on YouTube at least, quote-unquote targeted individual communities and who talk about quote-unquote gang stalking are fake. Most of them are all just actors who are put out there to discredit the real people who these things are happening to. So I want to take a look at this character. I want you to listen to this voice first of all. Listen to this voice here. We'll do this first because there's a number of different channels that this actor has. And this is another actor who plays, well, he plays the role of antagonist within these fake communities. And he goes around, setting up these fake arguments where he says, quote-unquote, gang stalking isn't happening. And he argues with other actors who are just actors posing as TIs. So let's take a look at this example here. Now I want you to listen. Okay, where is it here? Listen very carefully to this voice. And if you look at any of the videos from these fake targeted individuals or the quote-unquote gang stalking communities, which are all fake, all consisting of actors and or people who are actually citizen operatives, the same people who they use in the stalking routines, obviously it's in their best interest that anyone who puts stuff out about this that's credible is they try to discredit those people. So they'll have those people go on, create channels, act goofy, act mentally unstable, and then they'll have them argue with these fake debunkers. So these actors posing as debunkers. So I want you to take a listen to this voice, and if you're familiar with any of these silly little acting skits that go on in these fake communities, you might recognize this voice here. Take a listen.
Every once in a while I catch a fish that looks like this, covered in black dots that seem to be embedded in the skin and fins. These dots are caused by a parasitic fluke or trematode called Neascus, and these flukes cause a condition called black spot disease. The disease infects a large number of fish species, but seems to be especially common in fishes that hang around the bottom or around dense vegetation like northern pike, suckers, dace, yellow perch, shiners, chubs, and others.
Okay, so here this individual has a fishing channel, and he's talking on about fishing and whatnot. Now, to me, that's pretty obvious, that voice. Very, very obvious that is the same voice, exact same voice, as one of the people who performs an acting role as a fake antagonist who argues with these actors, posing as quote-unquote targeted individuals online. So that voice, uncanny, and you can tell the exact same nuances of the voice. Very clearly, that is the identical voice of the character who plays that acting role of the antagonist and says all these over-the-top crazy things to try, and his thing is to try and provoke angry reactions from these people. And it's possible maybe he does it to some real people who upload stuff too, but he knows himself that the vast majority of the people who he sets up these fake arguments with are all on his side, and that's all one big act. So the thing is, I never ever have any interactions with that fool because I know what his purpose is. I never have. He tried contacting me a number of times, and I just send everything to the junk mail from him. Now, I don't know offhand. Somebody contacted me and sent me this information. So a little birdie sent me this. Now, I don't know who the person was, and I'm kind of wondering maybe whether it was, I'm not sure, but the possibility that it was him posing as someone else, wanting me to see this, I don't know. Again, this part I just stumbled across myself, but I want you to check out this. Now, if there's any doubt there that that's this person, again, listen to the voice one more time.
These are areas that tend to host a lot of snails, which are important in the life cycle of this parasite. These free-swimming flukes embed themselves in the skin of a fish until the fish is eaten by a water bird, like a heron, which provides the proper environment for the fluke to develop into an adult within the gut of the bird.
Now, I'm not going to provide any examples of the fool playing his acting role in the antagonist role of his character that he plays to argue with fake targeted individuals, because I'm not going to dignify that foolish nonsense that he does, because it's just an act. So I'm not going to compare it to that. You know who this is if you follow any of this stuff, and you know who I'm talking about here, right? So I'm not going to mention him. I don't mention that fool ever. His purpose is obvious. He's just an actor. And he's part of the whole fake, simulated, quote-unquote, gang stalking thing that's been set up. And one of the things he always says is, gang stalking is fake. Gang stalking isn't happening. And as he says it, the way he's describing it, of course that's true. Because they've created a fake, simulated world of actors online, all of whom are out there to discredit the real people who these things are happening to and who document these things. So, in a way, he's correct about that. The antagonist, the actor, is correct when he plays his villain role and says those things. So now let's take a look at another more obvious example. And I believe here, this is the same person here, but he's doing something slightly different here. So this is his other channel here. And the interesting thing is, with this channel here, they've got him posing as a Christian truther. So like pretty much the exact opposite of what the character that he portrays himself as when he screams tells people to come on his awful show so he can scream at them and tell them they're schizophrenic for talking about gang stalking or whatever, right? So this is, and there's no doubt that this is him too. I don't know how the person who sent me this found it or whatever. Maybe it was him that sent it. I don't know. Maybe it was him using a different name, but it is interesting. Now so we're going to find something. So basically what he does on this channel, it's like a Christian truther channel, and he exposes some things about Freemasonry and about the occult, and he reads scripture, and like he does speak some real truth here. So let me just see here. Okay, so now you can see here rambling about how space is fake and gay. So if you're saying things like that, that to me is kind of something that is meant to discredit people who speak the truth within Christian truth circles. I mean, anyway. So let's take a look. Okay, so Julia Child. Now, what's interesting here is so let's just play him talking briefly here. Okay.
In today's video, I'm going to read Isaiah chapter 30. It's a chapter of the Bible that mentions how in the end the sun will be brighter sevenfold, and the moon will shine like the sun. And so I'm going to read the whole chapter just to give some context. I was looking for some AI images it was really hard to find or to get the AI to give me cool looking examples of towers coming down, because it's mentioned at the end of Isaiah. It's interesting that even the AI understands this concept of adding the word Freemasonry made all of these stairways going up to the entrance of a building. I thought that was interesting. And shots like this is AI, but the old style building with piles of dirt out front.
Now the voice may be maybe a little bit more high pitched here, but it's possible that when he does that character that he portrays, either here or when he's doing that character, it could possibly be he's using some sort of a slight voice modulator, but the nuances of the voice are very distinctive, and you can tell, to me, that is the same person as well. Now, this sounds precisely like him here. If we go back to this one here, this sounds precisely like the guy who plays that acting role of the antagonist who pretends that he believes gang stalking doesn't exist.
Those adults then produce eggs which are expelled from the bird in its waste. Any eggs landing in the water will hatch, and those newly hatched flukes will seek out a...
So that's a very, very slightly deeper voice, but to me this is the same person. And then this is his channel here where he poses as a Christian truther. And the acronym here is Repent, for the Kingdom of Heaven is at hand. So they've got him doing this here, and then he goes on and performs his other acting role where he's the total opposite, where he's this ardent skeptic where he's he's promoting the scientific dictatorship. Trust the science, trust the experts. He constantly badmouths Christianity, and of course he's got to go around and do his little fake acting skit with his fellow actors who work in coordination with him, with his whole little gang stalking doesn't exist act that he puts on. So
Which is very.
the irony is that here he's going around exposing Freemasonry and talking about these things, and putting out some legitimate truth with what he talks about on this channel.
Understanding of the vibes of what
Vibes, of course, relating to Kabbalah. That's why they always put that stuff in there. Vibrations. Yes.
Freemasonry is all about. There's some janky stairway leading up to some neoclassical. What is neoclassical even supposed to? The new.
Okay, so you've heard the voice there, right? Now let's take a look. Remember what I said when I referred to Normmacdonald and how these creepy, these occultist people always like to mock and ridicule people by putting out either through symbolism or through something that they'll put right out there to mock you right in your face. And he's letting you know that he's Normmacdonald by obviously putting up this video with comedian Robin Williams and how he believes his death was faked. So Normmacdonald, whose death was faked as a comedian, puts up a video of Robin Williams saying that his death was fake, which it probably was as well. But again, he's just mocking you by letting you know who he is. So speaking of people mocking you and really letting you know who they are, same type of Masonic occult mockery right here. Let's just take a look. We're going to go to his channel here. Okay, so it's back up here. Unfortunately, as I was making the video there, the internet went down. So now I'm using my glasses here. It's a little bit of a different outlook here because I got the TV here back at home now. So I'm just going to finish this video, because I was just about to finish it, and then interestingly enough, the internet went down. So there's just one other point I want to show here with this channel of this actor who plays multiple roles here. Again, this represents this acronym here: Repent, for the kingdom of heaven is at hand. Right? That's the acronym there. RFTKOHIAH, and this is the same guy who plays that ridiculous acting role of the antagonist within the quote-unquote TI community, the fake simulated TI communities that are set up to discredit real people. So he goes on and has fake arguments with people and just plays the silly, childish antagonist role. And all of the people who respond to him and talk to him are also fake as well, because only fake people would be stupid enough to go on and argue with him. There'd be no one with any intelligence that would actually have an exchange with that guy without seeing who he is and what his purpose is. So it's all fake TIs. If you see them responding to him, you can rest assured 100% that they're fake and that it's all coordinated between him and them, and that they're setting it up, these fake little stage skits that they have. So anyway, one thing I want to point out here that's very important, which you'll notice here, look at what he shows. Now remember what I said about how they have Normmacdonald showing all that symbolism just to mock people with showing the Robin Williams video. So if we look at this guy here, look at what he has here. Why a group of gorillas is called a troop. Now remember, gorillas. So he's showing gorillas in that picture there, just randomly, right? Just randomly, some cartoon gorillas there. We scroll down here again, and what do we see? Wow, he's showing another cartoon gorilla. Cartoon character gorilla. That doesn't represent anything. He's not trying to tell you anything about who he really is, right? And then here's another one. Look, he's putting another thumbnail with gorillas. Nothing to that, though. Again, of course, this is just some guy with a Christian Truther channel, right? Sure it is. Sure it is. Again, I don't have the volume on here, but you can see. You get where I'm going. So yeah, he's showing. Look at how many of the thumbnails that he has that just happen to show gorillas in them. Go figure, right? That must be just some random thing. He's not putting them there for any reason, to mock people and tell them who he to let people know who he really is, right? There's another one. Look, New Year's Ramble, and he's just, again, he's supposedly this Christian Truther guy. He has another channel as well, but this one here, he just happens to put gorillas in the thumbnails of so many videos. Again, it's all random, right? Nothing to that. He's not trying to really mock people by telling them who he really is with his persona, his alter ego that he has with the other couple channels. I mean, you get my point. It's just ridiculous. All of these people are actors. It's a fake, simulated world. That's why don't engage with these people. Don't respond to them. They're just actors playing roles, and you can see 100% here who this guy is. So.